The WNBA started in 1997 and it featured players such as Lisa Leslie, Sheryl Swoopes, and Rebecca Lobo. But the most successful player during the early years of the league was none of those three. In fact, it was Cynthia Cooper, who led the Houston Comets to their first NBA championships. It was 4 in fact. Imagine building the first dynasty when the league was just starting up. During that time, it was too early to even crown the greatest basketball player in women's basketball's history. Even until now, it's still a fairly new league. Just a little over 20 years, but that's enough history for us to even give some notable female basketball players some attention. With that being said, I'm Vin Cuevas from Watson Sports, and here we'll talk about 7 notable female basketball players. Cynthia Cooper led the Houston Comets to the WNBA's first 4 championships in history. Imagine building the first dynasty when the league is just starting up. Cooper became the WNBA Finals MVP in all 4 titles from 1997 to 2000. She was the league's first MVP, doing it in the WNBA's first 2 seasons. Cooper showed who the sheriff in town was, despite debuting at the league at age 34. In such a short career, she accomplished so much in just the first 4 seasons, and that gives her the slight edge in the early years of the league. Luisa Harris. In the 7th round of the 1977 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Jazz, now the Utah Jazz, selected Luisa Harris from Delta State. Harris was the first and only woman drafted in the NBA. Mind you, that's the men's basketball league, the NBA. At that time, the NBA was fond of novelty drafts. You will be drafting a player with no intention of playing them, only to signify some appreciation or maybe some symbolism with their causes. At the time that she was drafted, it was immediately revealed that Luis was pregnant after the draft and had to decline her contract. Harris averaged 32 points and 16 rebounds in college. She was so dominant that people thought that only men could compete with her in the hardwood. Ann Meyers. Ann Meyers became the first and only woman to sign an NBA contract. 3 years after the Jazz drafted Harris, the Indiana Pacers offered Meyers a $50,000 contract to play with the team. Since she had no other issues, Meyers signed the dotted line. However, Meyers never played for the Pacers at all. She was just part of the practice squad, but never checked in. Meyers averaged 19 points and 10 rebounds and 7 assists during her 4-year stint in UCLA. Cheryl Miller. Some people know Cheryl Miller as Reggie's older sister, but for those in the know, Cheryl is one of the greatest, if not the greatest female basketball players ever. Though she never got a chance to play in the WNBA, she coached the Phoenix Mercury instead during the first 4 seasons of the franchise. Experts say she would have been the best player in Phoenix at that time, even at her age. Miller averaged 28 points and 16 rebounds and 4 assists with the University of Southern California. Miller became the 3-time Naismith Player of the Year, a 2-time NCAA champion, and even scored 105 points in a game. Cheryl Swoops. Cooper's Comet teammate Cheryl Swoops deserves to be in the conversation. Early on, the Comets groomed Swoops as the face of the Comets but had to wait until Cooper's retirement. To this day, Swoops is the only player in WNBA history to ever record a triple-double in a playoff game. She also became the first woman to sign a shoe deal, and Nancy Lieberman branded her as the female Michael Jordan. Lauren Jackson. Australian Lauren Jackson is one of the most accomplished women's basketball players in the world. Before she joined the WNBA, Jackson was Australian season and finals MVP for 4 times. Upon joining the league, Jackson set the standards high for the WNBA. She won the WNBA MVP 3 times, won the championship twice, and became the scoring champion thrice in 4 seasons. Not only that, but Jackson joined the the WNBA's All-Defensive Team 6 times. Last but not the least, Diana Taurasi. Finally, Diana Taurasi has become the contemporary favorite as the women's basketball GOAT. Taurasi was the first overall draft pick in 2004 by the Phoenix Mercury and has played her entire WNBA career with the franchise ever since. She's like the LeBron James of the WNBA, who's playing at the high level even at season 18. Taurasi won 3 titles, winning the Finals MVP twice. She has the most All-Star and most WNBA team selections in league history. And those are 7 notable female basketball players. I'm Ben Cuevas from Watson Sports. For more content just like this, head on over to watsonsports.com.